Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan Knows podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod. Rod, what are you hot about today?
I'll tell you what I'm hot about today, Jimmy. I'm hot about the fact that there's a lot of people that want to be first on this WWE sale story, and I don't blame them because listen, if you and I had any sources, I'd love for us to break it as well. But let's not let a false narrative completely become the truth to everybody, to the fact where you and I, who have friends that are not deeply as delved into the wrestling world as we are, but on certain days this week, Jimmy, you and I were getting contacted saying, "Oh, you guys got bought by the Saudis, huh?" And you and I are both like, "No, no, no, we didn't get bought by the Saudis. Let's calm down. We'll hear official word from somebody somewhere when this thing happens. Just because Barstool Sports or whatever weird guy you like to follow on Twitter says the Saudis are going to buy WWE, I've heard it, doesn't mean that it's true."
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I cannot remember who first broke that. It was somebody with a blue check mark. Of course, I can get a blue check mark if I want to pay $11 a month. So that's kind of cool.
We're already paying
But
enough for this podcast. We don't need to be paying for blue check marks.
yeah, no kidding. But when Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp and a couple other people don't report anything or say, "Hey, those are rumors, but nothing is definite," I hold off until I hear something is definite. You like to talk about journalism, things like that. People like to break news quickly. But there are some, in quotes, wrestling journalists. I get it, no question. But there are wrestling journalists that really do have things right most of the time, and I kind of hold off and wait on that. But it seemed, Rod, that everyone had this except for those few select people. So it really is strange on how it moved. And even my wife the next day looked at me and said, "So, Saudi Arabia, huh?" And I was like, "Well, not yet. That's all right." I think one of the things that we need to continue to talk about, and everyone's brought this up, but it is a huge point. Saudi Arabia does not own a television network or streaming service. Okay. So the fact that the WWE could be purchased for the best of the shareholders, and that's the key. McMahon says he wants to do the best for the shareholders. He doesn't care about anything else afterwards. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. They don't have a television deal. And right now, Live Golf isn't doing anything because they don't have a television deal. That scares me because what company is going to want to get in bed with Saudi Arabia? That's my question there.
Yeah, and that's the question I'm asking myself, let alone me having these millions of dollars, to do advertising and, all types of corporate tie-ins and things of that nature that the WWE relies on, let alone just being broadcast on television, right? I mean, if they're not
Correct.
broadcast on television week after week, is there any reason to care? Sure, you're going to get some diehards like yourself and I and others out there. They're going to continue to go to just the live shows, but it's not going to nearly have the cultural zeitgeistiness that it provides right now, and why it's so valuable is its constant churn, always new. We have a new episode every week. Sure, we're showing you some of the same clips and we're rehashing some of the same things, and we're giving you Cody Rhodes' exact GPS location all times, but it's a new product week after week, and that's the most valuable thing about the WWE. And Jimmy, you said it right there, in bed with the Saudis. I
Yeah.
would probably continue to watch wrestling, but I think I might really hesitate on showing up at a live event. I wonder what you feel if somehow this did actually go through and the Saudis bought our beloved WWE.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot. It'd be like I do with a lot of other things. If I like it, and I'll still watch it. I think. I may have a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, let's be honest right now. WWE as a company isn't the greatest company ever in general.
It's true.
Okay. We do have another story about Vince McMahon again, So
We're already
I
going there
just,
twice a year for pay-per-views, so I mean, we're in bed with them
yeah.
as much as anybody else.
So I just, it is what it is, and it's not the people. And if you really get down to anything that we like in the world, something bad has
Yeah.
happened in that, right? But yeah, I just, well, that broke. I just don't understand what the game plan would be moving forward. If Vince thinks that he can just take over everything once the Saudis buy, and he's just going to take over again, where is that going to leave us? Because right now, and I think your boy Bill Simmons and my boy, honestly, he thinks that it kind of bothered him a little bit that things were going so well without him, because for years and years the story was it's going to fall apart without Vince McMahon. Heck, even Dana White right now says it would fall. The UFC would fall apart without him. No, it wouldn't. And honestly, the WWE got better without Vince McMahon. Corporation culture wise, the chaos was down, and the product was better because we weren't seeing the same match 78 times in a row. So I think, Rod, that has a lot to do with this as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to an age and success level that Vince McMahon is at and has reached in his illustrious life, and I will say that, right? Again, Vince has a lot of dark sides about him, and I'm not defending the man in any way, shape, or form here. I've never met him, don't want him on my kid's school board. But the level of success that Vincent K. McMahon has achieved in his life is, it's you can't knock it down. But I don't know that when you get there, what you still have left in your heart that burns and makes you wake up every morning, right? And Vince, from what we hear, was one of the first guys in the weight room, was always working, always on the road. What else does he have in his life other than this? Legacy is what else he has in his life other than this. And I think you hit it on the head there, Jim, is he walked away, everyone said it would crumble, and not only did it not crumble, it seemed to improve. It seemed to get better, right? You had more people that were willing to work there, which gave us more live bodies, which gave us better matches, which gave us more storylines, and it wasn't the rehashing of the same thing over and over and over again. But I still am interested in that point that I brought up last week. Triple H is much better at getting people to work there, gaining more
Yep.
respect from the wrestlers, nicer, all of the above. But we have not seen huge story level kind of pops that Vince has basically tried to make the WWE all about. And the reason that he harkens back to the same old, because he does what's safe and he does what will get a big reaction. I'm still interested to see if any of these great storylines that guys like you and I love actually start to give us some of the crowd pops that we've seen during parts of the Vince McMahon era.
And this is that very, very slow time between January 1st and the Rumble where things are starting to build. But once the Rumble hits, I think I want to see Triple H book an entire run to WrestleMania. And I don't know if we're going to get that right now because
That's my question as well. Can we be
yeah.
100% certain right now that Vince McMahon isn't already putting his meats in on certain things? I mean, we had my guy, I love him, but most people don't love him. But he was a guy that got a whole lot of run during the Vince McMahon era. First Raw with Vince McMahon back, boom, Baron Corbin has a huge match off the top. You know what I mean? Can we be 100% certain that Vince isn't already pulling a few levers back there? Because I don't know that we can.
I know they're talking. That I think Triple H even said that they're talking. They had an all hands on deck meeting for SmackDown. I was not there, but
That's
what
never
I
good when it
read.
comes to AEW. I wonder how good it went for WWE.
Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit different in that aspect for sure. But
You know, I had to get my AW shot in there, Jim.
let's talk a little bit about the sale here because the WWE. I think we are both under agreement that Saudi Arabia right now probably wouldn't be the best.
I just don't see how you do business well moving
Yeah,
forward from the Saudi sale.
but everyone does business with Saudi, which is weird.
It
That's
is.
the
That's what I
thing.
mean. And
But
here's
you're
the
not supposed to.
everything like I'm Jimmy, just stay with me for a second. I'm not going to get too
Okay,
incredibly political here, all right? But our
whatever.
previous president has just made an era in America where, oh my God, that's dirty. I can't believe that's happened. This has never happened before. And then a couple of weeks later, we just moved past it. So who's to say that this Saudi thing
True.
wouldn't be nasty for a little while and then we're just on and moving on to the next because that's just frankly the way we live here in America in 2023.
That is true. That's true. So let's talk about a couple other options for WWE. Let's talk about. So it's going to be about $7.5 to $8 billion is going to have the sale price for
Yeah,
WWE, which
quickly
is
for the
huge.
listeners, let me jump in on something that I thought was interesting, right? You said fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders. That
Yes,
basically also means that Vince cannot turn around and just sell this thing to Stephanie McMahon for $50 and then she puts him back in charge. He can absolutely not do that because of the responsibility to all the shareholders.
correct. And then there's a lot of legal and going off that, there's a lot of legalities with a public company. If you go private, most of those legalities come away, and you don't have to tell anybody anything, which is key. So that's why we're going to talk. Are they going to go public? They're going to go private. Some public companies that could buy them that have streaming services that need content. I know we've got three of them. We've got NBC Universal with Peacock. USA Network would be nothing without WWE right now. We have Amazon, who is doing a little NFL action. Maybe want to get 2 nights a week for the next forever long,
Right, in perpetuity.
on theirs. And then also Netflix is something that we could talk about as well. Now, I don't know if Netflix could do it right now, but those are three interesting companies that have the streaming service available right now to them to put WWE on and in perpetuity.
I'll take Netflix first, Jimmy, and then you can speak to one of the other two.
Okay, sure.
Netflix, talk to me after we see the Chris Rock special in March, right? We've
Yeah.
not really seen Netflix do any live programming. They got the big Chris Rock special, which I imagine, I mean, I know you want to see it, Jimmy, and I want to see it. And I bet a whole lot of people want to see it. Chris Rock's first time out in front of all of us talking about the Will Smith situation, right? So I think that when we see how Netflix handles that, you could then tell me Netflix would be great, because if we want to talk about streaming reach, and the WWE has always been a company that strives for reach, Netflix has it. I mean, Netflix has the worldwide subscriber base that just can't be touched by any of the others. But you want to talk about pools of cash on reserve at all times, ready to be burnt? That's Amazon, Jimmy.
Yeah, so I think Netflix is just made for WWE. There were some documentaries back in the day on Netflix, and that would just be great to see that because the Peacock is ridiculously bad. Their interface I hate. And
I do
trying to
too.
find
I
old
don't like
stuff on
putting
there
it
is
down because
ridiculous.
it's currently what I need to do a lot of my homework to become a better wrestling podcaster by
Yeah.
watching the old stuff. But it's terrible to find it. It really is.
It's horrible to find anything. Netflix would have that taken care of right away. You could find the old stuff. The new stuff would come right up at the front of the page in your requested or this is for you. I think that would work very well. Amazon is interesting as well because they are trying to build that service, and you're looking at 3 million homes a week between the two shows coming in to watch your service. That is huge. That's why I think Peacock really needs to pay up for this if they want to do anything. NBC Universal. They want to
How
continue to
easy would
keep.
it be to buy WWE merchandise and TV and T-shirts and belts and things of
Oh,
that nature as
oh,
well through an Amazon interface if it went up there?
unbelievable! Now I think WWE has a deal with Fanatics for the next couple of years, but that's going to probably coincide, I would assume,
Mhm.
with the Amazon. But that would be an amazing, just overall in your face.
Because WWE is
Um,
already good at that stuff. Frankly, I think some of it's overkill at times, but I mean, it must work for them. They've done it for years. They must know what they're doing. So you give them to the giant that is Amazon and being able to turn that stuff over quickly. Because I ordered a limited edition Ric Flair T-shirt like 5 weeks ago, and it's still not here. Right? I can imagine how quickly this thing's gonna turn around when we get to Amazon if they get involved. But they
so
just have
those are
pools of cash that they'll be able to come
yes,
up with. You're
yes
right
they
that
do.
USA, out of all of the ones you just talked about in NBC, they're the ones that need it the most, because Peacock would no longer have a reason to be around if you couldn't get WWE stuff on there, as terrible as the interface is. And the USA cable network would have no reason to exist anymore if they couldn't run Raw for 3 hours on a night and then run some stupid show that nobody's going to watch based off of a wrestler after it. At least have some
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
programming for a half season, right? But I don't know if they can have the amount of cash that it's going to take to come up with a deal like that. We know Amazon's got the money. Bezos decides he wants to buy it, puts his hat in the ring. They've got the cash.
Speaking of cash, Apple's not going to buy WWE. There's really no reason to do that. They do have a streaming service, but I don't
They want to
really
be
think
more
that.
HBO. That's Apple's deal
Yeah,
too, right? They want to be more HBO. They don't want to get in bed with something like the WWE, because
so
as
I
much as
really
you and
don't
I
think
love it, and as
that's.
much as we try to elevate it, it's still looked down upon by certain Apple types.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a good mix. And then Disney. I mean, Disney is an option with Bob Iger coming back in. They're all about IP, and WWE is IP. Their streaming service would fit very well with WWE as well. But I just don't
Stuff
know
at
if
theme
the.
parks would be cool as well,
Oh
Jimmy.
yeah, are you kidding me? I mean, go to
Jackson, come
SmackDown
on. You know,
Land.
Jackson wouldn't drag you to Disney World right now to get in the ring with some WWE superstars as some sort of an attraction. Come on now.
Oh, it would be an amazing experience. Again, I just don't know. 8 billion's a
The family
lot,
aspect, though, right? The family aspect.
but
As
it
much
is.
as
See,
WWE
that's
isn't that anymore, we're going to get a
yeah.
week or two of stories of people splashing up plenty of stuff from the Attitude Era, right? Whipped cream matches and guys
Triple
being
H
cut
had
in the
sex with a
face.
dead
And
woman.
yeah, Triple H just marrying Stephanie. That's, I mean, if you've watched that back, that's real
Yes, that's
cringy.
really bad.
That's
That's
real.
really bad.
Stephanie's basically just completely comatose in the
Oh
passenger
yeah,
seat
it's
getting
fine.
married. And it's just, so like that stuff could be run and it wouldn't be a great PR look for a little while. But again, as we spoke about before, all that stuff just gets plowed by now. So I think it's just going to be a matter of who decides they want to pony up the cash and what does that then mean for Vince McMahon? Because clearly the end game to Vince McMahon matters, as we've been basically framing this whole discussion around.
Yeah, and then finally, any private groups that come in, it was also it was mentioned that the cons could actually probably AEW owners could throw some money in
Wow.
with another group,
Wow.
which would be hilarious.
And
But
WWE the way Vince ended WCW.
and then Well, I think Vince bought WCW for $2 million. So
True, I know.
let's
I mean,
not
yeah, they had to
exactly the
buy it.
same, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
But
I'll
essentially the
never.
same idea, right? Show up on, have Tony Khan walk out on Raw or SmackDown, you know what I mean? Simply the sort of the way Vince popped up on Monday Nitro.
Sure. And then, of course, the Endeavor Group that owns UFC, they have a lot of money. They can. I think they're one of the people that are kind of in the lead right now. But they would be buying WWE to then get those TV deals moving
Mhm.
forward because that's what they really want with
And
that
clearly
pay
they're
per
not gonna
view.
worry about the bad press with the way they decided to handle this Dana White situation.
Yeah, I think either way we're looking at this. I'm thinking the days of the free pay-per-views or premium live events,
Yeah.
I think they're going to go away. I
Yeah.
really believe that
That bums me
they're
out
le-
because that's been one of my favorite
it
things about
does.
getting back into wrestling and being real easy.
Well, honestly, if you just do Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and then make Survivor Series big, if you do
And
those
Money in the
4 for
Bank, right? We'll
paid,
give them 5. Give them Money in
you
the Bank,
know,
your favorite.
if if those are 4 or 5 that you get that are big and then just have the other ones, you can do that.
Yeah, because you
Uh,
advertise the other ones as a bonus of signing up for whatever
sure.
service it's then gonna be attached to. Yeah,
Sure.
that's probably a good idea. Because I
So,
mean, 'cause those are gonna be your big stadium shows too, where you're gonna be looking to pack 55 to 60 to 70,000 in the seats in the gate there anyway. So why not just blow it out the whole way? I get you. Saturday nights though, that's the other thing Triple H seems to be pushing, and I like those as well.
oh, love me some Saturday nights here. Did you hear during the Minnesota Vikings Giants game today? Seth Rollins' music hit at one point. I thought it was going to come out. Did you hear that?
I missed that part. Darn it, man. That one thing that would have been worthwhile watching in that game for me, other than the fact that it's turned out to be a pretty good game. But
Yes. Something else that you missed that we would have led the show with had you have seen it is Seth Rollins tweeted something out today, Rod.
ooh, the visionary? Was it
You
revolutionary? Was the tweet that he sent out revolutionary, Jim?
really feel like main eventing WrestleMania this year was his tweet.
Let's
And Rod has
go.
fallen off his chair.
Let's
Yes.
go. Yes, let's put him in the Rumble. Let's have your boy Cody come out first. Let's have your boy Cody get all the way to the end. And then let's have Seth freaking Rollins be number 30, come in the ring, dispatch of Cody. Right now, Jim. Sign me up for that.
That's really good. That's not bad. If you really want to continue that feud, and because right now, see, that's good because Rollins has nothing on Cody Rhodes right now.
Yeah, absolutely
Nothing.
nothing. Zero.
It
Cody
would
Rhodes beat
be
him with a torn pectoral, for Christ's sakes.
it would flip the narrative. Bam. Oh, you were number one. You were going to win. Then I threw you out. And don't do it. Don't have him come under the ring. And no, have him come out at 30. Have him throw him out and win. That would be interesting. Something I heard earlier today is they are still talking about splitting that belt up before Mania. I don't know when, but
Yeah.
they're talking about it. And I don't like it. I don't buy it.
I don't like it either. I mean, we've done this thing with Roman for so long. Why are we just going to find some, because basically what it would reek of, right, is every time that they would have to strip somebody of a belt before
Yep.
Saudi Arabia, right? It would just absolutely reek of that. And going into your biggest event of the year, WrestleMania, coming out of Rumble, I'm with you. That's a terrible idea because there's just, I don't, not that anyone comes to me for booking decisions, but I just don't see any plausible way that I would buy. Oh, okay, Roman's still a complete badass who never loses to anybody, but now he doesn't have this belt. I just don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't either. And honestly, it's kind of proven you don't need it right now. I mean, the ratings aren't the best, but again, it's got a lot of people hurt, and we're making storylines. We got to make those
Heart of
storylines
football
go. But
season right now as well. Just the absolute
a
heart
lot
of
of stuff
football
going on, a
season.
lot of excuses, no question. But it's just he's such a bad. Who's the WWE champion? Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Instead of who's the WWE champion? Well, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. What? No, I mean the champion. One of those things. Like then you have to explain the whole thing, and it's like, why don't they have one? So I really like the fact that they're keeping one on there.
I like it so
Another,
much that I think they should do it to the women's belt, like you suggested a few weeks
yeah,
back.
yeah. I really do like that, and you could focus more. One week, one show could have the women's championship focused on. The next week, the men's. But I don't know if they're going to do that either. We've got the Royal Rumble coming up in just a couple of weeks, but after that is WrestleMania, of course, and there is another rumor that John Cena has taped a segment with Austin Theory for WrestleMania. So taped a backstage segment, encounter, something along those lines. I don't know, man. Cena Theory, that's a big, big match for Austin Theory at this point in his career.
Yeah, it really is. It's be interesting to me to see that. I really would be because I like Austin Theory. I like a lot of what we do with him. And then I think about the wrestler Cena was to the crowd for so much of his career, but then to where Cena's at now, right? And I just really wonder what exactly we are trying to do there. That intrigues me an awful lot. But is Theory going to still have the United States Championship at that point? I guess that would be my first question, because certainly Cena's not going to walk away from WrestleMania the United States champion.
Oh, hell yeah, why not?
I guess
Yeah, I'm not.
that was when Cena first started making his turn. I've been doing a little more work on Cena because I missed quite a bit of his actual era, and I guess that's when he became the U.S. champion, and that's sort of when it got some of its luster. He was one of those guys that elevated it the way that we've given credit to Lashley and Rollins here recently for doing it again.
Oh, Cena's U.S. Open Challenge was amazing. When Kevin Owens came out for the first time on Raw, terrific back and forth
Ooh,
with Cena. Oh, that's something to YouTube for sure. Kevin Owens, John Cena, uh,
all right, I'll look that
U.S.
one up.
Championship. Yeah, that's a really really good one. Um, We also have a couple things from SmackDown I wanted to chat about. The match that we were all kind of looking forward to here, and I think it delivered. It was Strowman, it was Gunther, and I thought they did a very good big man match. I thought it was one of Strowman's best matches he's had, thanks to Gunther there, because Gunther is that good. And
Gunther, the
Gunther
king
got
of
the win.
SmackDown.
He got the win, and I think that's amazing because they are building him up, continuously building him up for a huge event, huge matchup at Mania. Not sure who that's going to be against, but I think that this is where they need to go. I love the fact that he's being built up like this.
Why couldn't it just be Strowman again, right? Like just kind of keep them away from each other up till WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Give Strowman and some weird hoops to jump through to get back to Gunther. But I guess Gunther did say he wants to be in the Rumble already, so he did say
Yeah.
that. But he's not. Listen, Gunther, slow down there, buddy. All right, you're the king of SmackDown. You're a big time, big deal Intercontinental Champion right now, but you're not going to be main event in WrestleMania anytime soon here, bud. Why Roman Reigns still exists? Why Seth Rollins still exists? Why Drew McIntyre exists? All right, you're not why Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair. Like you're not main eventing WrestleMania anytime soon, Gunther. Let's relax here, bud.
You watch your mouth. Speaking of Charlotte Flair, her new number one contender, Sonya Deville. Uh, People don't like Sonya Deville. I kind of like her. I think she's got good on the mic. Not the best wrestler in the world, obviously, but she's fine, and it's a stepping stone to the next feud.
She's got charisma, right? She
Yeah,
really does, and she's also quite believable in the ring. And she really like the way she talks, right? I'm with you. I think she's actually one of the better on the mic in the female division, right? Because as much as I love me some Bianca, I wouldn't say talking is Bianca's strength. So, and there's a few others that I'm just kind of like, can we just actually not have them talk right now? That would be great. So I like Sonya Deville, but the crowd absolutely does not buy her. But that's okay. She can work off of that and still seem like a big deal, and that's all we need.
anything else from SmackDown before we preview Raw coming up?
Well, I mean, we got to talk about the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens
Sure.
match a little bit, don't we? I mean,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
absolutely incredible. But the Usos, Jimmy, tell me if you agree with me. I think the Usos are actually kings of three things. All right, the
Okay.
Usos are kings of three things.
Three
They are
things.
the absolute kings of the near fall kick out. All right, Jimmy
Okay.
and Jay Uso are some of the best in the company at the near fall kick out. They are the
Okay.
kings of the sucker punch. You thought maybe I was going to say the super kick there, but they are actually the
Yeah.
kings of the sucker punch. They do it better than anybody else. Oh, ref's distracted over here. Oh my God, here's Jimmy and Jay. Where'd they come from? Somebody's getting kicked in the face. Somebody's getting hit in the face. And they are the kings of the schmaz. Nobody
Yep.
schmazes up the ending of matches more than the Usos. Their matches, solo matches, Sami Zayn matches, Roman Reign matches, random matches on SmackDown because the Tribal Chief told him to go wreck SmackDown, random matches on SmackDown because the Tribal Chief told him to wreck SmackDown. The Usos schmaz up more matches than anybody in the WWE. What do you think of my three kings the Usos are?
You're right, and that's something that WWE has gotten into multiple times. That's something that hasn't changed, where every match it seems like it ends in a schmaz. And if you're doing that, but the ultimate goal is to not have Kevin Owens win the Universal World Heavyweight Championship, then what are we doing it for?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
What are we
I
doing it
thought the
for?
same thing, Jimmy C. You've taught me so well. I thought the same thing. I said, well, KO's not beating Roman Reigns at the Rumble, so why in the world can't he beat Sami Zayn right now? And you're clearly trying to tell this thing where Roman's getting mad at Sami. Maybe Sami's going to get cut out of the bloodline, or he's going to realize that they don't actually care about him. What better way to further that storyline than have him lose to Kevin Owens? I didn't understand it.
Neither did I. And here's the thing: everything is pointing to Sami Zayn having to win the Royal Rumble, but he's not going to win the Royal Rumble.
No.
In storyline, that would be amazing. And I know I've said that a few times today, but really, Sami Zayn in there with Jay Uso, last two people in the Rumble, and he throws them out and says, "I'm coming for Roman Reigns." There you go. Boom. You got the next 3 months. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But that's what the storyline shows that it's going toward.
Well, see, Jimmy, but that's why I mentioned, I think it was last week or maybe the prior pod. Forgive me for not remembering exactly which one, but I said, why don't we push the Sammy, that storyline you're talking about past WrestleMania, right? Why
Yeah.
don't we do what you just described in a Money in the Bank ladder match, right? Where we have the Usos in it and we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Sami Zayn in it, and then they're up on a ladder battling one another. Sammy comes down with the briefcase there, right? I love your storyline there, and I think that that's
Yeah.
absolutely the proper way to pay this thing off. But you're right, we got too many masters we have to serve at the WrestleMania in LA, right? With The Rock, Stone Cold, and John Cena, right? I still think there's a possibility that Stone Cold might show up for something because he's doing a whole lot of work in the gym and posting photos every once in a while too, which is something the Rattlesnake doesn't often do. So we
And
got all
something
these things happening.
And another thing to go back to Saudi Arabia again, is The Rock going to go WrestleMania if they're owned by Saudi Arabia? Is Steve Austin going to go? Is that going to happen if they are owned
I'd say
by?
Steve Austin would probably go, but The Rock might not go because The Rock's one
Yeah,
of those guys that tries not to make any waves, even though he could certainly stand to make some waves after what Black Adam and the whole DC fallout that we've had in the news here recently.
that might be a good. Do we have a pop culture podcast? We could maybe talk about that on a pop culture podcast.
We do. We do have a pop culture podcast, but as I let you know, Jimmy, we're currently
Rod.
working on a Valentine's Day special, right? We're in the lab cooking that one up right now. I can only do one pop culture podcast, one wrestling podcast, and one sports podcast at a time.
There's a lot going on, including Raw in Cincinnati, Ohio on Monday, where you will see Bobby Lashley take a next step to probably reforming the Hurt Business, which is fine with me. Love me some Hurt Business. Love me
Omos
some
better be
Bobby
involved,
Lashley.
though. Omos better be involved. It
Yeah,
better
I
be
mean,
a new
it
and
could be.
improved Hurt Business with Omos.
Judgment Day is also the number one contender for the Tag Team Championship. So that's something to look at. That was a very
Oh, that
long
reminds
gauntlet
me.
match.
Okay, I got to point out the funniest thing to me in that tag team match, which went on forever, and we could
Yes.
talk about that if you want to. But the funniest thing to me is so Finn Balor
Oh,
cannot
yeah. Yeah.
compete
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
match. He cannot
Yeah.
compete in the match.
Hurt.
But here's what we're gonna do: we're just
Yeah.
gonna give you a chair and an ice pack, bud. All right, we're not gonna
Yep.
get you
That's
back
it.
to the trainer or to the hospital. You just hang out here. I could not believe that. I'm like, what are we doing? I get that you want to have Dominic in there and further his storyline, which Dominic is doing such a great job right now playing the shit heel.
Oh, I love it. I love him so much. I don't even care anymore. It's hilarious. The
Oh, it's
hardened
great. But
criminal
then just
Dominic
Finn Balor's like,
Mysterio.
oh, Judgment Day. And then he had to remind that it was so hilarious. See him just sitting in a friggin' desk chair with a bag of ice at the side of the ring.
So we have Judgment Day. We have the Hurt Business. Alexa Bliss was encountered by Uncle Howdy when she revealed that was her true self. I know you are not buying this at all. Bray Wyatt came out on SmackDown as well and said, "Run." Um,
I like that actually. That was a Bray
that
where I
well,
was
that's
like,
old
okay,
school. That's a
he
little
was at
old
least
school Bray
talking
Wyatt.
about fighting. He was at least
Yeah.
talking about fighting.
So we'll see what happens there, but there's a lot to go. There's still a lot to go
What do
with
you
that.
think about Alexa, Jimmy? You've always just thrown to me with the Alexa thing. What do you think about? You were here for Alexa when she was with them before. You've been here for longer of Alexa's career. Did you think we were headed somewhere with the new person they were trying to carve Alexa out, or are you happy to see her go back into this world?
Alexa's a terrific heel, and I do love her as a heel. She played her role as in the Wyatt family, whatever, very well. The role wasn't good. I didn't like it, but she played it well. I don't like where this is going either. I like her being more of the stuck up, entitled type, badass, small girl that's going to kick your ass. You know what I mean? I like that
Don't
more
underestimate me. I'll show you type
precise.
shit.
She was in NXT when she first came on. This is something else in the Alexa Bliss lifespan in WWE. She was the good girl. Oh, everything was perfect and everything like that. And she was just, the goody two shoes the whole time. And then
Well, looking as good as she does, I can see why they went that way.
she just turned and did a really good job when she came up, champion multiple times. Ring work has improved over the years for sure. I think I see this as a step back for her though. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm
Mhm.
wrong for sure.
I totally agree with
Um,
you. I mean, we were talking about her and Bianca in the same sentence for a long time, and now you're just sucking her back into this Bray Wyatt Uncle Howdy business.
Yeah. Looks like Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler might have a one-on-one championship, one-on-one match, because they didn't want to do the tag team together. And then we also have Bailey, Mia Yim, Becky Lynch thing going on there with the Party Crashers and Becky and Mia.
Mia Yim. I'm not. She's on watch. All right, she's on watch right now. Is where I'm at with Mia Yim.
Mia Yim is someone who needs to be losing to some of these better, just as transitional matches. I think right now they haven't really booked her very well.
I'm not sure how
But
good she is at wrestling matches right now either.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough for sure. So that's your Raw preview. Not too much. We're going to obviously have more people announce themselves for the Royal Rumble, and then other people having to win matches to then get into the Rumble, and then other people who there's no room for them in the Rumble, even though there's 30 spots and we've only had 8 people talk. So we'll have that as we always do with the Royal Rumble. I believe that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Yeah We Know podcast. Coming up this week on Balls and Brew, we've got a wild card weekend that we need to talk about, including Rod, our Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags. Jags. Go Jags. We'll be firing up the Jacksonville Jaguar fan train. We'll see if we allow Chris an actual seat on the train with us or if we keep him just holding on to the back like he tried to jump on the train last week and steal our Jacksonville Jaguars thunder with this pick. We'll see if we allow Chris to be on there. Williams will be back with his thoughts as we round to a close in the NFL. And the NBA fast break will be back next week.
Yeah, lots to talk about. A lot of injuries in the NBA. Scoring is up, and that trade deadline, it's knocking on the door of that trade
Yeah.
deadline. We're
Hope
excited
we
about
get
that.
something.
That's going to give us something for sure. And with that, you have been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan You Knows podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod.
I really want to apologize to my guy Seth Rollins that I didn't set up an alert that whenever he deigns the world with the tweet that I will get it immediately. So Seth, I apologize. Please don't dock me in the Seth Rollins Appreciation Society. I am still a full-fledged member in good standing and absolutely agree with you that you should be main eventing WrestleMania. Let me know what I can do to make that happen, to make up for missing that tweet and having to be informed by my great podcast partner, Jimmy Jamriska. I'll improve in the future.